Friends, welcome back. I am Jason, and I am attempting to go as ultralight as possible here. I've got a big trip coming up, at least 130 miles on an old school single-speed bicycle made in 1941. Her name's Beatrice. She's a lady. But I'm trying to go as absolutely minimal as possible because it's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be tough, and I don't want to be carrying excess baggage. So let's go through the absolute minimum here and see if we can make any more deletions before we pack it up. I'm recording a video, bro. Shake a leg. Let's go. Get. Every single time you hit the record button, that rooster right there, Bucko is his name, starts getting a little chatty. All right, so here is the spread, my friends. This is pretty much all I am taking, and I'm gonna see if I can whittle down a little bit more right now as far as bulk and potentially weight goes. Shelter, let's start with shelter. We're gonna be camping out on the side of the road in parks. Who knows where we're going to be camping? There is no destination each evening because I don't know how far we're going to be able to go each day. I've got 3 days set aside to do this trip. So we're going to attempt to get it done in 3 days. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully our bodies survive and the bikes survive. But I know that we're going to have to camp out some places, and we know we're going to be sleeping on the side of the road somewhere. So I've got to be able to get at least a reasonable night's sleep. And so I need to bring some sort of shelter. And like I said, it's got to be the absolute minimum, which is not too difficult for me because that's kind of how I run anyway, typically. But I've tried to go even more lightweight this time. So my poncho here is going to be my shelter from any rain that's coming down over my head. And I've got about a 5-foot section of paracord that I can use to rig that up pretty dang easily. I'll need to make some stakes. That's not going to be a problem. Some tent stakes, I'll just make some when I'm out there. I'm not going to be carrying those. This is my sleeping bag. Here's a bivy bag. So this is a waterproof. So I shouldn't say waterproof. Very water resistant SOL Escape bivy. It's one of the breathable ones. It's my go-to. I enjoy using this. It's fairly light, a little bulky, but not terrible. And it's so nice to be able to climb in there when the weather's nasty, and who knows what the weather's going to be. I may or may not need any of this, but if the weather is nasty, it's going to be hard to sleep if it's pouring down rain on your head. So for that reason, I've got the poncho. I can stay dry inside the bivy bag. And then my sleeping bag that I made, check this thing out. A cheap, really inexpensive, really lightweight fleece blanket. But I turned it into like a top quilt, basically. I hopped on the sewing machine and I sewed up the bottom of the blanket here. So I've got a toe box. So when I'm in it, I guess I'll just lay on the wet ground. You guys are getting spoiled here. The things I do for you guys. So if you get in this thing, essentially I lay down on the ground on my sleep pad. I put my feet inside the toe box so the blanket doesn't come off of my feet. And then I've got myself essentially a top quilt, half of a sleeping bag. The sleeping bag that you're laying on doesn't really do any good because you're compressing that insulation. So everything behind you doesn't really do you any good at all. That's what the sleep pad is for, to insulate you from the ground, from the hardness of the ground, the coldness of the ground. That's what that's for. There's really not much need to have insulation behind you. So here is my sleeping bag, which I'm kind of proud of. Straps here. These straps are really cool. These black diamond straps. These are great because they're rubbery, kind of tacky, and they really hold things securely. And that's what's going to be holding this in place on the bike rack. So that's it right there, guys. That is my shelter. Shelter from above, shelter from precipitation and moisture that might sneak around, splash in on me underneath my tarp if I should need it, my poncho. And here is my insulation from the cold, just a fleece blanket. Temperatures, I think, as far as I know, the last time I checked, the lows are going to be in the 50s, so I should be more than fine with that in addition to my clothing. So there's the absolute minimum shelter that I think that I should need on this trip. Could I do without the poncho? Perhaps. But man, if it's pouring down rain and I'm just laying in this, I'm not going to sleep. And then having to get up and ride another 50, 60 miles the next day after no sleep whatsoever, that's going to get rough real fast. So I don't want to skimp too much on shelter. Now let's talk water. This is my Grail water filter right here that I trust. And I think as big and as heavy as this is, it really works quite well, and it's really convenient to scoop up water out of the creeks that we're going to be passing, riding over the bridges and whatnot. It's going to be really convenient to be able to get my water from here. So this is something I probably won't skimp on. I could take a Sawyer Mini, which would be a lot lighter and a lot smaller, but I don't trust them as much as I do this one. So for that reason, I'll probably take this. And I've got, I think this is a 3-liter, 2 or 3 liter. I can't quite, I'm not sure. 2 or 3 liter Camelback backpack here that I'll be wearing so I can carry my water on my back. Because that's going to be, I mean, that, of all the things that I need to bring, that is really high on the list. Because it's going to be hard work. Temperature's going to be up in the 80s, maybe low 80s, something like that. I'll be sweating a ton. And if I'm not replacing that hydration consistently, I'm gonna end up having to stop. It's just not gonna go well. Muscles will start cramping up, dehydration will kick in, and then I won't be able to go any further. So I'm gonna have to stay on top of that. So I need a reliable way to make that happen. In addition to that, because water is so important, I've got some water purification tablets. So if something should happen to my filter, I could throw a couple of these tablets inside my Camelback and be okay to get me to the next stop. You know, I mean, obviously we can stop at gas stations and Dollar Generals and stuff like that and buy water and things like that, but that's not going to be very convenient, and they're going to be few and far between when you're riding on a bicycle. So there's that. All right, let's talk clothing. I am dressed pretty much in what I'm going to be wearing on the ride. Just, you know, a t-shirt, probably a long sleeve t-shirt I'm going to be wearing to protect me from the sun, some shorts, wool socks, and some cross trainers there. That's essentially what I'm going to be wearing, and obviously my helmet right here that I got a score on. This is a $160 helmet. Got it for 15 bucks at the thrift shop. That's how we do it. Anyway, clothing. So from top to bottom, I have a way to cover myself up. So I'm going to be riding in these clothes right here, sweating, nasty. Going to be raining on me probably, most likely. Road grit and grime and mud and stuff flinging on my back. I'm going to be gross. So when I lay down at night to sleep, it's really nice, again, to get a good night's rest. It's good to be able to put in something dry, something clean, so you can rest successfully. So that's what this stuff is right here. This is what I'll be sleeping in, essentially. Might be wearing that during the day too, but this is just a multi-purpose cloth right here, a bandana that I can use for all sorts of things. Makeshift bandage if I need to. If one of us takes a little digger, takes a wipe out, we can clean up our wounds with something like that. But anyway, I've got some wool socks that I'm gonna sleep in. A very nice baby alpaca hat right here, super soft. This was an amazing gift from my friend Ruben, and I'm really grateful for this hat. It'll go on many adventures with me. Really light, doesn't take up any space, but really warm as well, and plus it looks cool. Because if you don't look cool, I mean, what's the point, really? I mean, why do we do anything if it's not for the pure, unadulterated reason of looking cool? So this is going to be my sleepy hat right here. So when I lay down at night, it'll help keep me a little bit warmer, a little bit cozier. I've got some wool long johns here, long pants that I'll sleep in, and then a shirt, just a synthetic, really lightweight shirt that's going to stay dry, and it's super light, doesn't take up much space. And then basically, in addition to my sleeping bag here, this will be an insulating layer. It's just a down puffy jacket that packs down really small, really light. I mean, that thing weighs so little that you won't even notice it. So that is going to be my extra clothing. Battery bank here that I'm going to be using to charge up my phone so I can continue to record the progress and the shenanigans that we get into, charging cables to not only charge my phone but also charge this thing up if I should stop somewhere with an outlet. My helmet, like we talked about, wet wipes. I've got a few wet wipes here, so you know, potentially we'll be stopping somewhere and we could hop in the creek and take a little bath or something like that, clean ourselves off, because like I said, we will be getting nasty, just sweaty all day long and gross. So, but if we don't have access to some water, having just a wet wipe bath, man, that is, and obviously number 2 reasons that's important to have as well. But having a wet wipe bath is a game changer. So I've got that. I've got my toothbrush, a little bit of toothpaste. I could probably get rid of the toothpaste just for this little trip, and I've got a flosser there. So I'm going to leave that behind. I will not be bringing the toothpaste. I'll just be water brushing, you know. I'm going to lighten the load, get rid of that. We do not need that. Even though it's small and light, every little bit counts. So I'm going to subtract everything that I can out of here. I'm going to subtract absolutely everything that I can out of this gear, even the packaging and stuff. If I don't need packaging on stuff, I'm getting rid of it. So my toothbrush and a little flosser there, if I should need it. A little bit of bandage material here, some compressed gauze in case we have a spill. Duct tape there will keep it in place. Like we talked about before, water purification tablets. A spoon, probably not going to need it. Magnet. Probably not going to need a spoon. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna eat. I might bring salted nuts. Like that's something that's not on the table here is food. So I'm probably gonna bring salted macadamia nuts, salted jerky and stuff like that. Lighter weight stuff, but not like freeze dried. I don't want to cook anything. I'm not gonna be doing that at all. It needs to be ready to eat food. So not super ultra light foods. So no mountain houses or anything like that. But I'm gonna bring just whatever I can find kind of at the store. So a jar of peanut butter or something like that, and this would come in handy for there. So I might bring my spoon. Got a lighter, probably not gonna need it for anything. We're not gonna be having fires, almost certainly, but just in case, good to have that. And I've always got backup fire starters and whatnot, and that's the same quarters that I was gonna use for my poncho. Friends, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. I'd be really grateful for it. Leave a comment, any comment will do, and consider subscribing. Patreon memberships, we're starting Substack now. I'm getting out there, guys. I'm going to be on any and all platforms. I'm really putting myself out there a lot, as much as possible, so you guys don't miss out on any of the content, any of the crazy shenanigans that I'm getting into. I want to make sure that you're there. I'll put links to all that stuff in the description of this video and in the comments section, so make sure you're checking that out. Thanks. These are the absolute minimum tools that I think I need to work on this bike right there. That is a very simple machine. You can take apart this entire machine with a crescent wrench, right there, an adjustable wrench, a pair of pliers perhaps, a needle nose pliers, and a flathead screwdriver will just about disassemble the entire bike. I don't think there's anything on here that I can't, really take apart without those tools. So that's what I've got. I've got an 8-inch crescent wrench here that opens up big for some of the larger size stuff, like the cranks and stuff like that on the bike. But it is a bit heavy and a bit bulky. I'd like it to be smaller, so I think I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna cut that handle off here. I've got a tire spoon here, tire changing tool right here, so I can help change the tire if we should get a flat, and a spare tube right there in this small little pouch from TRC Outdoors that will protect the tube from getting punctures while we're just carrying it around, dragging around the packs. If you don't protect them and you just throw them in a pack somewhere, the abrasion from the vibration of stuff rattling around next to it, like other tools and stuff, will eventually poke holes in there. So something just thin like this to protect it is always a solid idea. This is how I will inflate the tires. It's just a CO2 inflator tool here. That's the smallest, lightest weight kit that I can possibly imagine carrying to get my tires back operational. Enough air in them to, probably more than enough air in this to inflate my tires completely, at least enough to get me to a gas station or something like that where we can put the proper PSI in the tires. Duct tape. If duct tape won't fix it, man, we're in a bad spot. Zip ties, whatever duct tape won't do, zip ties will. And then a Leatherman here, just the cheap Leatherman Rev. Great little multi-tool. It's got all the things, screwdriver, knife, pliers, needle nose pliers, all the stuff that you would need. So I'm going to cut that down, I think. I'm going to cut this crescent wrench down. And this rubbery handle, I mean, good grief. Why do we need a rubbery handle on a crescent wrench? I mean, are we that soft? Have we gotten that soft as society where we need a rubbery handle on a wrench? I mean, come on. Oh yeah, I mean, that's shush chicken, shush, 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 chicken, shush, 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 shush. Get out of there, get out of there, shush, 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 shush. All right, yeah, that's significant. I mean, come on, that's ounces right there. I don't know how many, but it's significant amount of weight reduction. I'll take every little bit I can get, everything. I mean, this bike is a steel frame construction. Everything on it's heavy. It is not a light bicycle just by itself. So I'll take every weight reduction that I can get here. Look at that. Slick. Much more compact. Significantly lighter, actually. That's noticeably lighter, taking the plastic handle, rubbery handle off there and cutting that couple inches off of the end of the steel. That is significantly lighter. Now, you know what we could do, and also what we should do, if we're, a true American, is wrap that handle with our duct tape. So we're not taking up any really extra space. We can just combine these two, and this will be our duct tape roll. I think that is an excellent idea, if I do say so myself. So that is what we're gonna do. This is our Gorilla Tape here, the good stuff. Now my plan was to put all my tools in this kind of waxed canvasy bag, but I've got this really thin bag that my poncho came in. I wonder if I could just get all my tools in this really lightweight bag right there and cut down on a little bit of bulk and a little bit of weight. Not much, but enough. Tools go in well, easy peasy. Wrench. Zip ties will go fine, just like that. Maybe they stick out. Maybe I curl them around in there a little. Make them fit a little better. Yeah, like that. And then our tube, more protection. There we go. And now we can get rid of this bag right here. Again, not very heavy, but every little bit matters. And it's a little bit of bulk that we've gotten rid of right there as well. All my sleep gear, extra clothes, dry clothes, that stuff here, I'm gonna try to put all in one spot like that, and possibly put it either in just a trash bag like this, just a really lightweight kitchen trash bag to keep everything dry, or possibly this wax canvas cinch bag right here that I use all the time from P&W. I think maybe I'll put it in this, because this is pretty watertight as is. Haven't quite decided yet how I want to do that. This would work, and it would keep everything dry, and it's super, super light. So maybe I get rid of this, and I just go with this. And that'll get even smaller than that. I mean, that gets tiny, tiny, tiny. I could put all of this inside of the foot pocket of my little sleeping bag here that I made. I stole this idea from my friend Ruben. He's the ultralight guy. I'll try to remember to put a link to his Instagram account on this video so you guys can follow him. If you want to know about ultralight backpacking camping, he is the man. So I stole this idea from him about this sleeping bag idea. I was inspired. So there's my clothes, all wrapped up in there, nice and tidy. And I'll need all this at the same time, so I guess there's no sense in separating it. There we go. So there's my clothes and sleep gear. Like that. This bag can now go away. This saddlebag came off of one of my electric bikes. It was really convenient that it fit really nice on this old school rack we got going on here. Just like that. Just be careful not to zip it up in the zipper and poke a hole in it. That would be less than ideal. Poncho and my bivy bag will go in there as well. So all my camp stuff is all on one side. That stuff doesn't need to really be protected from the rain. So there's my dry stuff. All my camp gear right there in one side. It's another one of those little cinch bags from TRC Outdoors. I'm gonna throw my charging cables and stuff in there to keep it from poking a hole in my dry bag that's gonna keep my electronics from getting wet. So that's where all that stuff is gonna go. We're gonna stick that in the side pouch here so we can easily find it, charge up my phone. We're gonna be using GPS and stuff like that to navigate. So it'll be nice to have an easy way to charge up devices and whatnot. There's that. Although it's kind of vulnerable if I should crash. Least of my worries, I guess. Tools, all the tools and spare tube and stuff we'll put there, the heavy stuff. It's always good to put the heavy stuff near the bottom of the pouch. Saddlebags, put the weight as low as possible in there. The Grail is gonna go on that side. This is full of water at the moment. So that'll go in there. First aid and toiletry stuff we'll stick on the side compartment here. And then I've got room for food, like quite a bit of room actually for food to go in this side compartment there. That's what's gonna ride there. And that's pretty much all my gear. The only thing that's not in there is the food. Extra strap here for who knows what. That'll just go in that mesh pouch right there. Food, I'll be wearing that right there, and essentially the clothes that you see on me right now, basically. And that's it. This is what's going to hold my phone for GPS and possibly tunes. I don't know what's going to happen. I could also record off of that so you can get some action shots of me going down the road and camping out and whatnot. So there it is, friends. There she is. I need a scale for these types of things to see how light, I was able to get my kit down to. It's really light. I mean, there's not much in there, including the tools and stuff to work on the bike. Including the tools to work on the bike and a full bottle of water and all that stuff. And the bike, including the bike, this is not bad. I mean, that's pretty light considering everything. This is an old school heavy bicycle, but I can pick it up with one hand. I bet my total load, including the bike, is about 50 pounds, maybe? That's what I would guess. Including the bike, 50 pounds. My kit is super light. One last weight reduction here. These little clips and extra buckles and stuff, those are probably not necessary. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll leave these loops here but get rid of these plastic buckles because they don't connect. There's nothing to connect to this too, even on the other side. It's not like there's a male and female one here. So I think I'm just gonna get rid of those. Maybe leave these loops in case I want to strap something else on top here. I could tie it up like that together. But I'm gonna get rid of this right there. Cheap plastic buckles anyway. Typically break on you when you least expect it. I could always take a piece of cordage, paracord or whatever, and or one of these straps here and go through there. That's perfect. Look at that weight savings right there. Come on. I'm gonna be like Lance Armstrong. Well, there you have it, friends. Beatrice loaded. As light as I can possibly get it. That will be what I am bringing for a 3-day adventure where I will be covering at least 130 miles. It's probably, if I had to guess, based on kind of looking at the back roads and stuff and all the ways we have to get around major highways, it's probably gonna be closer to like 150 miles. so we'll see. 50 miles a day is kind of what we need to average to make it happen in 3 days. But down south where we're starting in Watkinsville, that's gonna be no problem. It's pretty flat. But as you get closer and closer to here, not such an easy 50 miles. You're gonna earn 50 miles. It's gonna be rough. So wish me luck. Me and Beatrice are gonna hit the road here in a couple days. All right, friends, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Let me know how I can cut even more weight. How can I make this even lighter? That's what I want to know from you in the comment section. Thumbs up, subscribe, all the things, all the clicking and sharing. I'd be really grateful for it. Until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.